everyone, I hope you are doing good. Today I'm bringing up the first video in a series that I mentioned I wanted to start this year. I mentioned this in one of my previous videos, that I wanted to make this series of my favorite colors from separate watercolor brands. And today I decided to bring to you a video with the first brand of professional watercolors I've tried, and they're still one of my favorite years later, and that is Sennelier. So I have here the catalog with all the colors, and I'm going to be showing to you. And from this catalog I have selected 18 colors which I'll be showing today that I think that are very unique and beautiful. And I mean, it's all out of personal preference as well. You are free to choose your own colors depending on the subjects you like to paint or your own color preference. This is my preference for the type of color combinations I like to use, and also considering the range available from this brand. So before I start, I would like to please ask you, if you haven't subscribed yet, consider doing so. This will help a lot the channel to get to more people, so my content can be seen by more people that are interested in watercolor, in art supplies, in painting. Like this video, subscribe, sign up for the notifications, just hit the little bell icon here. And thank you everyone that has already done so, that has been using my links as well. I really appreciate it. And I hope to keep bringing you more interesting stuff in 2023. So let's start. First, I'm gonna start showing you this catalog. You can get this in retail stores that sell Sennelier products, or you can also get it from Jackson's. I think they sell these printed catalogs from different brands. And then here you have all the selection of colors there is. The selection from Sennelier, the professional watercolor, hasn't changed much in the past years. They have come with new line of iridescent paints, which I have reviewed in a previous video. I'm gonna leave it a link here, so you can check that out if you are interested in metallic paints and that type of thing. But apart from that, their regular catalog hasn't changed much, at least since I started buying them. That's maybe 5 years ago or so. But they have some very beautiful colors. You see here lots of greens and blues and all of that. So they don't have a lot of this type of modern mixes like schmink, super granulating and stuff, but I really love this brand. Like I said, it was the first professional watercolor I got, and I got hooked from the beginning because they are very, very vibrant, and if that's something you like, you won't regret getting Sennelier watercolor. So here in the catalog they have 98 shades, and it says that they are available in half pans, full pans, 10 and 21 milliliter tubes. Here in Dublin in particular, we have the tubes that are that I believe is the small, yeah, this is a 10 milliliter tube. We have the tubes, and we have also the half pan. I put mine in this little mint box here, and so I have some half pans as well. And so let's start. First of all, I'm gonna be swatching them in this Clairefontaine paper. I bought this huge block for a good price, quite inexpensive paper, but it's nice enough to show the colors. And I have pre-stamped all the colors here with their names and their pigments. I'm gonna be showing it up closer a little bit once everything is dry. And so what I have to say about Sennelier, apart from being very vibrant like I mentioned, they are made with honey, so they are very creamy and they're very easy to re-wet. But if you are into putting your paints to dry to use at half pan, that's not the ideal type of paint to do that. I'm gonna show you here. I made this little paint which I call Seascape with some of my favorite colors, and there's a lot of Sennelier paints there. It's a very, very well used paint palette, as you can see. But you see over here what I mean? I put this paint, I don't even know, maybe over 1 year or one and a half year ago, and it's still sticky and it still gets all over the place here. I always get my hands dirty when I take out this palette, so it's not the best for, but at the same time it also depends on the paint, I suppose, because I have other Sennelier paints here that are okay. You see this Sennelier as well, and this dry, but this color in particular, that is brown green, I think, and this sepia as well, they are always sticky, so it's a bit of a lottery. Some of them will dry fine, some of them will always be sticky. Another thing that I've noticed, I already got my hands dirty, you see. So another thing that I've noticed is some colors that I had got in tubes, they had a lot of color separation from the binder for some reason. Sometimes it's the pigment, like the cobalt. That's something that happens quite frequently with other brands as well. And sometimes, I'm not sure if it's the tube that I got or it's the color itself, but some colors are more prone to have this binder separation. That means when you open the tube, you get all of that gamma arabic coming out, that transparent gamma arabic, and then very little pigment, and then you have to mix it up again. And with Sennelier, because they also have honey in their composition, if they get this binder separation and they're not properly mixed, then you just mix it very quickly and you think everything is good and fine. You paint with it, and what you get is a sticky, shiny finish that will never fully dry. It will always be sticky because there's the honey that is not properly mixed. So for this type of issue, I advise getting the half pan. So here there are some half pans that I had initially gotten as a tube, and I really liked the color, but I felt that the binder separation was too frequent and it was kind of putting me off of using the color. So I bought them in half pan shape. So that happened to the emerald green, that happened to the turquoise green, to the cobalt blue, and yeah, but like it's not deal breaker for me because I really love their color. So you have the option to get either the full pan, the half pan, or the tube, depending on your preference. So I'll start just dropping a bit of water in the paints that are here on my palette. I have a few that are already here in this palette I showed you. Like I said, it was my first professional brand, and I have a special I don't know, connection, because it was that one brand that opened the door for me of all the beautiful things you can do with watercolor beyond student paints, I suppose. And one thing I have to say also, because I live in Europe, they are pretty affordable here compared to other brands. I would say that they are the least expensive ones in store here in Dublin. because you would pay more for Winsor & Newton, for example, and the tube is considerably smaller. It's I think it's a 5 milliliter tube. I'm not sure, I'm gonna check later and put here the information, but definitely less paint than the Sennelier tubes, and also less expensive than Schminke. So I know that in the US it's a different price because it's a French brand. So I hope that will be helpful also for you to see the type of colors that I find are quite unique for the range, and if you're thinking of trying, maybe that will help you. So the first one I have here, I have it in a tube. It's called Bright Yellow Green. It's a type of kind of a fluo neon almost green. I'll say like chartreuse. And this is with PG7 and PY3. It's funny enough, in the tube it's just written PI. It's like a misprint, but I got the information from their catalog and it's PY3. So I'm gonna just put a little bit here on my palette. So here we have the bright yellow green. It's a very beautiful bright color. So yeah, as I was saying, it's a very bright color. It's not everyone's thing, I know, but I personally love it. Most of all when I use it together with turquoises or emerald green, this type of thing, I find it's just beautiful. Now the next one is in my Seascape palette. It's one of the sticky ones, like I said, and it's called Brown Green. This is also known in other brands as Green Gold. It's PY129. It's a very, very beautiful color. It's actually one of my favorite colors of all times. I love mixing it with Phthalo turquoise or just using like this straight from the tube. I'm trying to make it mass tone at the top and diluted at the bottom. So here you have brown green. You can see here that you can get to a very pale greenish yellow and a more olive tone. I have collected a good few PY29 from other brands, and I don't know, I still love the Sennelier one. It's just, it has something that attracts me. Same thing goes for olive green. Olive green from Sennelier is my hands down favorite. I really love their mix. It's also in my Seascape palette. Actually, if you are interested, let me know in the comments, but I can make a video in the future swatching all the colors that I put in this palette. The Seascape one. I found it was fun exercising, selecting some of my favorite colors, and I thought that the theme was on point since there are so many turquoises and kind of coral reef colors and stuff. So here you have olive green is PY150, PG36 and PBR23. So it's a very luminous olive green, and that's due to the PY150, this nickel azo yellow. It's a very beautiful color. Next one, I have it in a pen, like I showed you here, because it was one of the colors that was always giving me problems with binder separation, to the point that I arrived by the end of the tube, and I haven't even finished the tube, but I just decided to get the pen because it was really sticky, the tube I had. And it's a very beautiful green. I haven't seen any other green like this from other brands. There might be, and I'm not aware of, but with this particular tone, I haven't seen from other brands. And I really like it. It's kind of, I don't know, a more vibrant malachite tone. And it's a single pigment one, so that's great also if you want to do some mixing with it. I didn't mention before, but I have a mix here between single pigment colors and some convenience colors as well. As you're gonna see, they have some quite unique convenience colors, so I didn't resist. This next one, it's another green, and it was one of the first tubes I got from them. I just saw the color and the name and it caught me. It's this beautiful deep green called Forest Green. This is a convenience color. It has 3 pigments. I'm just gonna move my water over here. Yeah, so you see this is a very beautiful, rich green, very muted and deep. And this is a 3 pigment color. It's made with PBK7, PG7 and PY42. So a black pigment, green pigment, and PY42, if I'm not mistaken, is yellow ochre. Very nice color. Now comes another one of my very favorites from this brand, and I was not even remember before I prepared the swatches for this video. I didn't remember that it was a 2 pigment color. I thought it was single pigment, but even so, it's just very rich and so beautiful. It's actually, I think it's my very favorite version of Phthalo Turquoise. I hope you can see that it's just so rich. I'm gonna try to zoom in a little bit. Can you see that? It's just so beautiful. Of course, it loses a bit of vibrancy as it dries, but look at that. And when you dilute it, it gets into this kind of turquoise tone. It's just very, very nice. Well, I'm sure gonna be saying this a lot here because this is my selection of favorite colors, so obviously I love all of them, so I hope you put up with me. The next one, it's called Cobalt Green, and it's a color that I find very unique to Sennelier, even though I have also a version from Romangement, but there's something about the Sennelier one. It's so creamy and opaque, and the granulation is so beautiful. I just love this color from Sennelier, and I haven't found anyone that can match it. It's this beautiful type of turquoise as well, more on the greenish side. It has granulation because it's a cobalt. It can be opaque, and I don't think that anyone can match them in this one here, at least from the ones that I tried. This is my favorite. It's a really beautiful color. I'm gonna be showing you later on the close-ups. The next one, it's another turquoise. It's called Turquoise Green, but actually it's what we call in other brands the Turquoise Blue or Turquoise Light. I have it here in the half pan as well, because this was another color that was having a lot of separation. What happens usually with cobalts. It's what you would expect from a cobalt, and I just love the Sennelier version of it. It's very bright, very rich. Like I said, their colors are really vibrant. And they just dissolve beautifully. You see, despite this being a less expensive paper, you don't see these hard edges with this paint. It's just very nice paint to use. And what else? I think I have another one from this half pan little tin that I have, that again is another color that was giving me binder separation. Another cobalt, that's Cobalt Blue. By the way, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention this Turquoise Green is PG50. Some brands usually have either PG50 or PB28, if I'm not mistaken, and or not, or PG28. I'm gonna put it here on the screen when I find that info. But yeah, now I have another cobalt, that's Cobalt Blue, that is PB28. And I just love this color, but I was not using it a lot when I had the tube, out of frustration, I confess, with the binder separation. So I recommend, if you like cobalts, consider taking them in half pans or full pans. And this was Cobalt Blue. It's a very nice colder, or rather warmer blue, more on the purple side. And now is my favorite dark blue ever, is the Indanthrone Blue. Well, I stand corrected. I wrote Indanthrone, but actually Sennelier calls it Indanthrone Blue. But you can see in other brands also called Indanthrone Blue. Either way, is the pigment PB60. It's a very nice dark type of navy blue, and because I like this color, I have it in many brands, but so far Sennelier is still my favorite. There's something about it, I don't know, the tone, This is very, very rich dark blue. It's perfect for night skies. And another color that it's good also for night skies and is a very dark and decadent and rich tone is Deoxazine Purple from Sennelier. It's another color you find in a lot of palettes and brands. It's one of these staple colors that everyone makes, but I still find myself reaching over and over for the Sennelier one, just because I find it super vibrant and I love the way it spreads on paper. Theirs is PV23, the pigment. It's a very beautiful purple and I love purple, so I use this a lot. I put it a bit on here on my Seascape palette as well, even though I had already all the wells filled in, and I used it quite extensively already. And yeah, so far we've seen all the greens, the blues, the purple, and now we are going to start with the reds. And this, I think, is my favorite red from all reds. I use it a lot, and the first one I tried was Sennelier and I fell in love with it. And I still use it a lot, and that's Quinacridone Red, PR 209. I just love the way this pinkish red on its own, I already find it beautiful, but when it mixes, it makes the most vibrant mixes you can imagine for purples and for oranges. I just love this color, and I know that there are other brands with the same color. I have also one from Roman Schmoll. There's, I think it's Quinacridone Coral, the Daniel Smith version, but I still like the Sennelier best of all of them, even though I haven't fully tried the Daniel Smith, but this Sennelier one is really beautiful and vibrant. Now, I hope this video won't be too long and you're not bothered or bored. What else? I have another red here that's called French Vermilion. This is a new acquisition. I got it the end of last year and I absolutely love it because I love this type of bright red, mostly in contrast with sometimes a turquoise or blue or something of that kind. And this is a PR 242. You see here is a very vibrant red. More on the warmer side compared to Quinacridone Red, of course. Now I have another red that is Cadmium Red Light, PR 108, and this is in my Seascape palette. It's another warm red. But a bit less orangey compared to the vermilion that we just swatched. And it's very rich. As you can see, it can get very opaque. I'm trying to remove a bit here so you can see diluted. You can also notice a bit the difference between these two. Now, let me rearrange my desk here so I can show you the last 4 paints. So we are getting to the last 4 colors, and now I have another red that is more of an earthy tone, red, more muted. That's Venetian Red, and that is PR101. More of a brownish red. This is a very common staple color in watercolor palettes. You can also use burnt sienna if you prefer. Burnt sienna, I think, is a bit more orangey. You can see here a bit more brownish. This is more on the red side. I find it beautiful, also diluted. You can get nice base tone if you want to work with skin tones, and then mix it with ochres and blues to get the different skin tones, darker or different hues. It's a very useful color for mixing as well, and it's opaque in this mass tone, so you can use for other effects as well. Next one is a color unique to the Sennelier range that I always kind of ignored for a while, because I was there was a time where I was just getting single pigment colors, and I was very much I had a lot of prejudice against convenience mixes. But then I got a kit from Sennelier where there was some colors to experiment. I think it was a kit with 5 or 6 tubes, and it was a very good price, and this color came in the kit. It's called Chinese Orange. It's a 3 pigment color, and I fell in love with it because it's such a beautiful type of burnt orange tone. It's not in your face orange, super vibrant. It's pared down and it's just so beautiful. It's a very unique color. There's only Sennelier making this type of mix, and it's a 3 pigment mix of PY150, that is nickel azo yellow, PR209, that is quinacridone red, and PBR23. I'm not sure which type of brown is this. I'm gonna put on the screen here once I find the answer, but it's a very beautiful type of orange. Now I have 2 other colors. One is still I got a little half pen, that's Caput Mortuum. It's another very beautiful color. It's very opaque in its mass tone, but it has beautiful granulation and makes the most beautiful mixes. very dark as well, so you can get some pretty interesting effects using this as a mixed color. Dark purplish brown. In its mass tone, I think it looks very beautiful with all the granulation. Now we are down to the last one, and this was a great discovery I had last year. Somehow I just decided to try a gray watercolor. Oops, wrong tube. So I decided to try a gray watercolor, which I also frowned upon before, because I was like, oh, why do I need a gray watercolor? I can just as well dilute a black, and you know. But this one in particular is just blow my mind when I started using, and most of all mixing it. It's a very beautiful convenience tone. I'm gonna share here a painting I did using only this color and French vermilion that is over here. I had bought the two of them on the same day, and I just decided to do a small painting with a limited palette, and it blew my mind. Now it became really one of my very favorite Sennelier Colours. It's just has this beautiful granulation, and when you mix it with other colors, you bring this granulation, and it's just very nice. And it has also some degree of color separation when it's diluted, because it has PW6, that is a white pigment, PB29, that's the ultramarine, that's what's bringing the granulation, and you also have PBK7, that I'm not sure right now at the top of my head if it's ivory black, or I'm not sure, so I'm gonna put here on the screen. But you will see in the painting I'll be sharing all the beautiful granulation it shows when you use it in cold press watercolor paper. It's just very beautiful color to paint on its own or to mix. So we finally arrive at the end of this video. I hope that you liked all the colors. I'm gonna be showing you now the close-up. So I hope that you liked this video. I hope that was useful if you're thinking of trying Sennelier paints. If you did like, please give me that thumbs up. Let me know in the comments which type of color do you like to use, what are your favorite Sennelier, if you have tried, if you're thinking of trying. I always like reading your comments. And I'll be coming back in the future with more videos about my favorites in other brands, so that will be coming soon. Hope you have a nice day or evening, and I'll see you soon. Bye!